Good morning. Reminders lang po ulit for those who just came in. Kindly indicate your region and your name as your Zoom screen name. And please check the Zoom chat box for the Google form which will serve as our attendance sheet. Only attendees who filled out the Google form will be given certificates of participation. Roll call lang po ulit sa regions. Region 1 is complete. Sir Louis, is Region 3 complete?
Ma'am, yung isa po naming trainer, tinawagan ko, di po naman sumasagot.
Okay, thank you. Sir Jerry, kompleto na po ba ang Region 4B? Sir Jerry.
Hello, ma'am.
Kompleto na po.
Yeah, check. Mag-head count lang kami, ma'am,
Okay,
sa participants namin.
Region 5 is complete. Region 11 po ba kompleto na, Sir Jonathan? Kung meron pa pong volunteers na hindi pa naka-login, remind na lang po. We will start at 10:15. Thank you.
Wala pong audio in my end.
Good morning po ulit. I am Fela Grimas from DOST PCHRD and I will moderate today's training session. I think we can start now as we have 96 participants in the room. Bago po tayo magsimula, I would like to take this opportunity to thank our DOST regional coordinators and our HRDC focal persons for their support to DOST PCHRD and to the FASSSTER and TanodCOVID project teams. We also thank our volunteer trainers and data interpreters for offering their expertise and services in the regional deployment of FASSSTER and TanodCOVID. We acknowledge our volunteers from Regions 1, 3, 4B, 5, 6, 7, 11, and GAR. Ngayong umaga po kasama po natin ang mga miyembro ng FASSSTER at TanodCOVID teams na sila Dr. Rina Estuar, Mr. Ken Espina, Dr. Marlene De Leon, Mr. Daniel Benito, Mr. Lian Yao, at Mr. Noel Victorino mula sa Ateneo Center for Computing Competency and Research. Ipapaliwanag po nila sa atin today kung paano magagamit ang FASSSTER at ang TanodCOVID SMS-based self-screening system sa COVID-19 surveillance. Ang FASSSTER po ay pinondohan ng PCHRD noon pang 2016 para sa surveillance ng dengue, typhoid fever at measles. At nitong March 2020 lang po ay in-enhance ng Ateneo de Manila University ang FASSSTER para magamit natin sa COVID-19 surveillance. Ang presentation po ng FASSSTER team ngayong araw ay may dalawang bahagi. Una po ay ang discussion at live demo ng FASSSTER web application na pangungunahan nila Doc Nina at Ken. Pangalawa po ay ang discussion at live demo ng TanodCOVID SMS-based self-screening system na pangungunahan naman nila Doc Marlene at Noel. Pagkatapos po ng presentations, magkakaroon tayo ng exercises on simulation and data interpretation. Ngayon po, ito-turn over ko na kayo kay Dr. Nina Estowar para sa brief introduction ng FASSSTER web application.
Okay, good morning to everyone.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning. Okay, just fixing my presentation. Okay. Thank you for the introduction, Faye. So we are from Ateneo de Manila University, and we are here to give you a hands-on training on how to use FASSSTER. So this is a different kind of training because usually when we do the training, we train the users of FASSSTER. But then we realized after several iterations that our users, our LGUs and decision makers sometimes need people by their side, no, to assist them in interpreting and to assist them in simulations. And so we are trying to expand our reach by including training for trainers so that we can help more people use FASSSTER for decision making. So the training is divided in parts. Okay, part one will be mostly about the motivation, theory. Can we, mute na lang po muna ng lahat. Okay, thank you. Okay, and then I will also give you foundations in COVID monitoring, because it's very important that we inform our users about this one. Not everyone knows how to use models, no, and not everyone understands what models are all about. So it's best that we provide them with a foundation of what type of model we are using in FASSSTER. And then the target participants would be the type of users that FASSSTER was designed for. And then we'll go through the different aspects of FASSSTER and where it is placed in the bigger picture. We'll discuss the mathematical model also and some of the equations on a first level basis, and then should anyone be interested in the deeper mathematical analysis, we will just get feedback first and then probably hold a separate session for this one. And then we will go through the intervention strategies and the different features of FASSSTER vis-a-vis what is currently needed by our LGUs. And then Ken will, and then I have to leave for another meeting, but the team will stay on. Ken will do the demonstration, and then we'll go to the next part, which is the TanodCOVID workshop and demonstration. Okay, so some house rules. So please put all microphones in mute. If you have questions, just type them in the chat box. We will respond to them and we will collect them and respond to them later on. The presentation deck is a work in progress. So that means that what we used the other day changed today. Okay, so I think at best for the trainers, we will provide a folder where we will update the presentation deck as we update FASSSTER. Okay. We will also provide a link to what we are compiling now, which would be explanatory notes of the different parts of FASSSTER. We strongly discourage people in this session today to take photos of the slides because some of them we just borrowed, with permission of course, from internal references, no, during, for example, IATF meetings, just to situate the trainers para they can explain better the purpose of FASSSTER. But should there be a need to take photos and use them as references, make sure to just cite them properly and use them for your own internal discussions and not for public use or social media use. Okay, so the motivation behind FASSSTER would be in three areas that we are trying to address. Number one, there is very sparse application of disease modeling in the country. So there's a very small team of disease modelers, as proven by the number of Philippine models that are out there right now in relation to COVID. You can count with your fingers the number of groups that have developed disease models. It's quite a small number, and the reason is because we have never had opportunity to really operationalize the disease models from its mathematical design to implementing it in a platform. Another gap that we're trying to address is there is really a lack in real-time health information because our systems are distributed. No, we don't have a single system for health monitoring. And last, because of those things, there is difficulty in disease monitoring. It's very difficult to be preventive. Most of the time, we are reactive. It's only when there's a pandemic or an outbreak already that we try to look for solutions and interventions. So FASSSTER tries to address that by providing a platform that will allow for localized disease modeling. So by localized, we mean we don't use foreign models, but we develop local models based on local data, and then provide a platform for our users to be able to simulate using the model for projections and for analysis. And then second, the same platform can be used for real-time disease surveillance and forecasting. So FASSSTER, the acronym is a mouthful, okay? It stands for Feasibility Analysis of Syndromic Surveillance using a spatiotemporal epidemiological modeler for early detection of diseases. But it really just focuses on three areas, okay? First is the monitoring of diseases facilitated by ICT for near real-time early detection of outbreaks. No? So that's what syndromic surveillance means. Okay? So we monitor the disease, not manually, facilitated by a tool so that there can be early detection of outbreaks. Second is spatiotemporal. So aside from what we can gather from information systems, which would be visualizations on frequency counts, maybe bar charts and pie charts and line charts. Okay? Spatiotemporal analysis allows us to analyze the pandemic through space and time combined. Okay? So geospatial analysis po. And then epidemiological modeler, so the foundation of the disease surveillance platform is not simply a collection of the current cases, but more than that, we provide very sound mathematical models, no, for understanding the transmission of the disease. Okay, so as Faye mentioned, we have started with FASSSTER since 2016, where we developed local models for dengue, measles, and typhoid. And so we also provided an interface to upload these models and to do some simulations with them. Aside from that, we added a feature to collect syndromic data. So that's one of the things that we realized we really need to also provide sources of data for the syndromic surveillance. At the same time, we started training our users on disease modeling. On our third year, we were already preparing for institutionalization. So in research that has been developed and has been proven to be useful, the next step is really to turn over the technology and capacitate its intended users. So that was the intention for year 3. And then we extended for another 6 months to test it out again in Region 6, which is our pilot site. And before the pandemic, we were actually preparing for that actual turnover. So what you see on your screen right now are some of the sample features of the first version of FASSSTER for dengue, measles, and typhoid, and our forecasting visualization. We also developed SMS surveillance tool to match the FASSSTER platform. So this surveillance tool is fed into an EMR, validated, and then fed into FASSSTER. Okay, so lessons learned from the 3-year study is that it is very important to establish a data source, no, for syndromic surveillance. I mean, you get it from the ground, you get the data from the actual potential patients, no? The earlier you have them, the better. But of course, it has to be verified. So it feeds into another information system. Hopefully, it's the electronic medical record, so that you already have all the data that you need for a particular patient. And it is there that you do some validation before it is fed into the visualization tool, which is probably not used just by the health practitioner, but more for the decision makers or the city planners. And so patient screening should happen at the most granular level, which is barangay or household, that there is a validation at the system level. So all the reports, just get them all in, and then there should be a good way of validating them and correcting them. And then last would be validation at the statistical and mathematical level. Okay. And so, following that thought, at the constituent level, there should be efforts in educational health campaign. No, so right now, what is most important is that we as citizens understand the meaning of contact tracing. That we should not be scared of it, and that we should be diligent enough to report if we have those symptoms. And so there's really need for massive educational campaign for us to contribute our data to flatten the curve. Second, we need trained encoders. Because contact tracing is manual, and so we need people who really know how to do contact tracing and get the right kind of information that's needed, because garbage in, garbage out when we talk of systems, no? Pag mali yung data, mali din yung visualization. Okay? And then, of course, we need our trained event surveillance officers, kasi the monitoring is not just one time. You have to keep on going back, no? So you have to establish a good relationship with your community. At the patient information system level, of course, it is at best, we have automated validation, for example, for duplication of records, or we are allowed to automate updates, but people should be accountable for the updates that they do. Maybe a reminder of which fields are still incomplete and need to be reviewed and monitored. Okay, and then lastly would be part of the team should be trained epidemiologists and public health specialists, no, to understand which tool to use for today or which tool to use for forecasting. And that is, and these are the three areas where the people or the participants in this room is situated, no? So you can either be assisting in the encoding and part of the event surveillance unit, or you can be part of the IT team who will try to ensure that data is validated and complete, or you could be part of the analysis team where you will serve as a consultant to assist during our IATF meetings or during LGU meetings or DRR meetings, no? To help them navigate through the FASSSTER dashboard. Some of the problems that we have encountered, of course, would be that the data is incomplete, no date of onset, or inaccurate. For example, home address and current address are interchanged, people are confused, especially when they are in the emergency room, no? And so these are things that need to be monitored because they are very, very important when we talk about the counts. And we all know that regions and LGUs are very, very sensitive about the confirmed cases and its distribution. So at best, we want very minimal variance with the counts at the local level and the national level. Next would be that the contact tracing monitoring system is really very manual, and we hope that people will be encouraged through our partnership with the regions to use the accredited and recognized systems. No? Another problem is we should be strict already with the encoding instead of relaxed, so that it cannot be submitted if the data is incorrect or incomplete. No? So that will lessen the inconsistency. And at the last level, of course, in the interpretation, it's very difficult to interpret if you don't know your assumptions. And so that's where we need help from this group to be able to explain the results based on based on assumptions and selected scenarios. So the team is composed of, it's a big group. We are composed of disease modelers, computer scientists. We have people who manage the data for us, so data managers. We also have a data warehouse, a team of data scientists, and of course our system developers and epidemiologists. And now we welcome everyone in this room to be the last member of the FASSSTER COVID-19 team as trainers. Okay, so the composition of the regional training and support teams. First, we have the DOST regional coordinator. So ang main point person po natin is always the DOST regional coordinator. Why is that important? When we now expand and spread our service to the different communities, marami po talagang experiences, no? And they would ask a lot of questions. So what we have done so far is that I think we have a Viber group, no, at the regional coordinator level, and then we also have separate Viber groups for the different regions, no. And so that dun po binabato yung mga tanong. Pero maganda po sana na centralized para at least at a single question we can farm it down na to everyone, no. Next would be your volunteer local trainers. So kayo po yun, you will be asked to conduct online training sessions. So depende po sa ating DOST regional coordinator kung paano po nila gagawin yung coordination with you. And usually ang end users natin are RIATF and LGUs. And when we say LGUs, it's not just the mayor's group. It could be the DRR team, it could be the health team, it could be a combination, it could be other academics, no? So varied po yan. And then last would be your volunteer local data interpreters. So ito po yung pwedeng side by side during their meetings and during their decision making, nandun po kayo sa tabi nila running the platform. So naranasan din po namin yan. Okay? The more the merrier, no? Importante po, no? Magandang opportunity ito sa atin lahat, no? To gain knowledge, no? About a lot of things because of this pandemic and through the use of the tool. Okay, so routine actions for all LGUs. First and foremost, we always have to remind them that there should be a single source of data. Hindi natin sila mapilit, no, na isa lang yung system. Some LGUs have several. They have manual counts, they have their own Excel file-based counts, and then they have probably a tarpaulin that displays the counts, okay, or may TV dyan. And then we also have the national count, no? So para pong elections yan, no? May COMELEC at meron din pong real count. So first thing is to recommend and encourage, I think this is already required, no? That everyone uses COVID Kaya for their source of data. So yun ang una natin kailangan sabihin sa kanila na ang source ng data ni FASSSTER ay COVID Kaya. Okay, yan po ang official case management information system ng ating Epidemiology Bureau. And as I speak, every day meron pong training ng COVID kaya. So probably that's another option, no, for the participants in this room to be trained in COVID kaya also, para at least you have a sense also of what the system is all about. So that one is our single source of data. Okay. Next thing that you have to remind the people you will train is that FASSSTER is not the solution. Okay? Kasi minsan po yun yung expectation, no? FASSSTER is just a tool. We provided them with a better way of understanding their data. Okay? By providing them with this dashboard accessible through the web, very user-friendly, at marami po siyang visualization na pwedeng gamitin. Okay? It is also important to let them know na at this point, they should have already designated their COVID special teams. No? So meron po dapat ang bawat LGU na special team na hindi lang po gumagamit ng dashboard, sila po yung lumalabas at naggagawa ng contact tracing, tumutulong mag-decide saan ang unang itetest, and so on and so forth. Okay? So, ang dinadagdag po natin sa COVID special team ay ang participants in this room, which would be our trained interpreters or trained users of FASSSTER. Okay, so foundations in use of the platform, okay, is we heal as one. So minsan po very stressful yung experience, no? So merong mga nagagalit, ganyan. So we always just focus on let's help one another. Next is the model itself is operational. So operational versus exactness. Why do we emphasize that? So by operational, it means that it works. No, it is not precise because it is only a model. Okay, it is not the reality. But what we try to do is we try to fit it to the real one as close as we can. So for those who are researchers here, we understand that's why there are variables, no? Variables attempt to capture the real picture, no? So ganun din po sa model, no? We try to understand the scenarios and the situations. We develop the most appropriate operational model. And by operational, we also mean that it could be used for a long period of time. Hindi lang siya one-time model, publish mo, tapos na. Okay. Third is that immediate response versus long-term solution. So dalawa po yung role ng mga participants today. Baka po tawagin kayo today, tanungin kayo ano yung status today. So that's an immediate response that they need to decide on. Or pwedeng may meeting, tapos nagpo-project sila or nagpa-planning, yun po. So tulungan niyo po sila with the projections for their long-term solution. So FASSSTER can assist in both. Next is it's an iterative and consultative process, no? So naiintindihan po namin na kami yung frontliners when it comes to the dashboard, no? So minsan sa amin din po nababato lahat ng init ng ulo ng mga gumagamit, no? Ibang levels din po kasi yung users natin. So ibalik lang po natin sila. Role po natin yun na pakalmahin sila at saka sabihin na this is an iterative and consultative process. If there are things that you think are incorrect or things that need to be improved, just give feedback. Okay? Last is that we are now focusing on localized and targeted solutions. So, iba po yung may experience niyo based on the needs of the LGU, but we always go back to the overall agenda, which is to mitigate and contain and prevent the spread. Okay, so learning outcomes for the trainers are the following. You should be able to narrate the context behind the development of FASSSTER. You should also be able to narrate the history of FASSSTER, describe its features, demonstrate the features, provide a brief discussion on the disease models, design scenarios based on local experience. Kaya po ginawa naming regional kasi mas alam nyo yung nangyayari dyan. And then to interpret the results and then possibly identify agencies assigned to respond to the inquiries from the ground. So pag ang tinanong po, bakit iba ang number namin? Sa Epi Bureau po yan. kontakin niyo po ang resu ninyo. Bakit hindi umaandar bakit hindi ko ma-view? Okay, sa FASSSTER team po yan. Ganito po. So, meron po tayong ganyan na strategy. What this training does not cover is the deep explanation of the derivation of the mathematical and statistical equation. Siyempre po, ibang usapan yon. Should there be an interest in this group, we will be very, very happy to provide training on that one. Okay? This does not also include how to make localized decisions. So, hindi po kami yung magsasabi kung magla-lockdown po ba or hindi. Okay? Ang LGU po or ang RIATF ang magdi-decide noon. Minsan po kasi naiipit kami, no? Kami yung pinapa-decide, no? So hindi natin role yan, people, ha? Ang role lang natin to be by their side, explain what the dashboards mean and how to interpret them. Okay? This training does not also compare our model to other models. So pag may tanong po sa inyo, ano ba bakit ginagamit nyo yung parameters na yan? Hindi po yan covered by this training. So we can provide also training should there be a need for our public or the users of FASSSTER to understand it. Okay, so target participants of the users of the platform initially would be the health team. So ito po yung probably una yung iti-train. Next po would be the response teams and the sectoral teams. And then third would be additional academics or professional consultants who would want to also volunteer to be simulators, interpreters, and trainers. Of course, let's not close the option that some of you in this group would want to do research. So we also encourage that. Okay, so where is FASSSTER in the bigger scheme of things? So this is a picture that is not yet official. We borrowed it and we were allowed to present this to the group because we need to understand where is FASSSTER in the bigger architecture. So this is not the complete DICT system architecture. For those of you who are well-versed with the situation out there, medyo gulo-gulo po ang ating mga agencies, no? And so mahirap pong magsabi na permanent na ang isang bagay. But right now, what we are very sure of is that FASSSTER is at the end of all of these things, no? FASSSTER is the receiver of the information coming from COVID Kaya, and then it is in FASSSTER that the LGUs that FASSSTER is the tool that LGUs can use for their decision making. So ang TanodCOVID po, which is part of our training today, is on the leftmost side. It is one of the sources for your contact tracing. And then, of course, there is also activities na in systems development with PhilHealth and also with the laboratory information system. Kaya po, maybe in 2 weeks' time or maybe at best in a month's time, stable na po lahat ng data natin at ng information natin. Hindi po namin pag-uusapan ng stay safe. Hindi po namin role na pag-uusapan yan today. Okay, ang pag-uusapan natin ay FASSSTER. So, ang FASSSTER ay receiver ng COVID Kaya information. And it actually is fed into a data warehouse. No? So, we follow standard formats on health information. So, FHIR server po. FHIR warehouse, FHIR warehouse. Diyan po pumapasok lahat ng information through APIs. And then, yan po ang finifeed sa FASSSTER. So, sandali na lang po, magiging real-time or real-time na po yung information natin in FASSSTER. Okay, so first, the data sources. So, again, may date tayo dito as of June 10. So, again, depende yan sa dynamics or sa situation kung magbabago po yung sources ng data. And so we'll go through each one, okay, of the information architecture naman of FASSSTER. Okay, so first is our data sources. So COVID Kaya is our data source. We also have another data source which is the data collect system. Doon po sa mga gumagawa rin ng kanilang mga dashboards para sa kanilang mga regions, usually po doon kinukuha yon sa data collect, no, or data drop ng DOH. We also have other sources of data for security, social, and economic. Upcoming na po yan sa ating dashboards, no? Pero hindi po siya, wala pong system that we use to collect. These are actually CSV files that are given to us. Okay, and then it goes through data cleaning process. So alam po natin, pag systems developer tayo, and we have to still look at the data and see, no, because there are inconsistencies, and hopefully this migration that's going on right now will lessen the cleaning or actually even eliminate the cleaning before it goes to the warehouse. Third, from the warehouse, we now extract the necessary data sets or information to develop the different features of FASSSTER. Okay, and then it's now displayed in the FASSSTER dashboard for IATF, RIATF, and then LGUs. Okay, so for every section of the training, because we are training trainers, you should be able to answer these things, no? So hindi naman tayo magtatanong ngayon kasi limited lang yung time natin, pero kung totoong workshop po ito, ay meron tayong recitation, no, per region. Okay? So things na kailangan yung masagot, no? Parang ito yung end ng chapter readings, no? What is the motivation behind FASSSTER? What does FASSSTER mean? What is syndromic surveillance? What does spatiotemporal mean? What is meant by disease modeling? What are the current data sources? Kasi madalas tinatanong yan. How is data processed and how is data visualized? No? So for the technical people, you can just say we're using R programming, R scripts or R packages for our tool, and then we also use Python for the visualization. Okay, and then we have a server, a cloud server that manages the information and it stores the information. Okay, how do we register in FASSSTER? So ito na po, ito na yung paano gamitin si FASSSTER, paano mag-register. Si Ken will go through a walkthrough to show you this one in detail, but we prepared na this presentation deck for you. Of course, you will remove items that are not relevant to the users because right now, this is designed for the trainers. No? Pwede po kayong gumawa ng version ninyo, tanggalin nyo lang po yung mga parts na hindi kailangan for when you do your training. So how do we register? We provide them with the URL. We walk them through the registration process. Ang madalas pong hinihingi, diretso po, sasabihin ng region, pakibigyan ng access. Hindi po pwedeng ganon. Kailangan po personal registration. Kasi magsasign po sila ng data use and sharing agreement. No? Maintindihan po nila dapat ano yung importance ng confidentiality ng data. So everyone who has access to FASSSTER has a responsibility, no, to ensure the security and confidentiality of the data. Next part of FASSSTER is answers the question, what is our status today? Mayor, tanong ni Mayor, Doc, kamusta tayo today sa COVID? So, okay, pag yun ang tinanong, ang papakita po natin yung statistics and demographic distribution. So, ito po yung main dashboard where you will see the number of confirmed cases. So kung ang access nyo ay region, makikita nyo po yung region ninyo at yung confirmed cases for today. So right now, ang pag-update ng model namin kasi depende sa pag-update ng COVID kaya. No? So recently, dahil sa migration, midnight na sila nag-update. So, ang nangyayari sa amin, medyo noon time na rin kami nakakapag-update ng data. So, sasabihan naman namin kayo kung ano na yung status, no? Ang promise po ng COVID kaya, pwede pong every second mag-update, no? So, tingnan natin kung kakayanin nyo ng faster kasi yung computational processing ng mga models. So, malaman lang po ninyo, lahat po ng models natin ay kung gaano po karami ang ating municipalities and cities, ganun po karami yung mathematical models. Hindi po siya isang model for the entire country. So yung computing resources po natin medyo intensive pagka po generate namin yung models. Okay, so some variables that are often mentioned would be date of onset, date admitted, date reported confirmed, specimen date. So karamihan po nito ay nagiging mga proxy variables kung kulang po yung mga ibang items. Hopefully, again, kung lahat ay susunod at mag-encode properly, at mag-encode on time, wala na po tayong kailangan na proxy variables. Okay? Meron din po mga iba't ibang terms ngayon, for example, cumulative count versus actual count or active cases. Meron ngayon ata late, no? Late late confirmed and early confirmed or something, okay? Ang addresses din po, meron po yung home, current, and where you are confined, no? So, nilalagay po namin yung update ng model kung kailan siya po huling na update. And then on the left side naman po, you have your symptoms and then your comorbidities and distribution by age, by sex, and causes of death. Okay, so ito yung kamusta tayo today. Another feature of FASSSTER is the now casting page. No? So marami na pong nilalagay dito, but ang very important po, which will happen starting tomorrow, I guess, because malapit na naman ang June 15, no? So sa Philippines, every 2 weeks ang change, no, ng status. At ito yung unang-unang tinitingnan. Kina-classify ang bawat region, ang bawat city to a certain category. So meron tayong initiation, recognition, initiation, deceleration, and acceleration. Okay? So again, pipili kayo ng lugar, malalaman nyo kung ano yung current classification niya. Ang measure na ginagamit namin, yung tinatawag na case doubling time, or the speed, it measures the speed of the outbreak, no? How often do you have new cases over time, no? So every 3 days versus every 30 days, syempre mas maganda po yung every 30 days, so parang halos wala nang nagkakasakit, no? So meron tayong line dyan, graph, na nagpapakita kung very steep siya or nag-flatten na yung line, ibig sabihin hindi na masyadong nagkakaroon ng new cases. Yun yung foundation for the classification. It makes sense because if there are always new cases, baka nandyan pa siya, no? May outbreak, baka hindi pa pwedeng mag-relax ng quarantine, no? Versus halos wala ng new cases in a month or 2 months. So, pwede na sigurong mag-relax ng quarantine or mag-change ng type of quarantine. Next, we provided you with this one. I think our LGUs also have this. So this is something that you can change or remove when you do your lecture because they should already know this. But this is good information para malaman nyo kung ano yung strategy, no? Strategy for every phase of the epidemic, from containment, mitigation, suppression, continuous reduction, and preparation for the next phase, no? And then, dahil nag-differentiate na po tayo by province, by HUCs and ICCs, nagkaroon po ng further breakdown, paano po na-identify yung classification based on the case doubling time and based on the size of the outbreak. And then we also provided you with the proposed strategy. So pag ang tinanong naman sa inyo, so anong strategy gagawin namin? Nasa ano tayo? Initiation. So you can tell them non-pharmaceutical interventions po. Ganyan, ganyan. So we provided you with some foundations po. Of course, you can do further research to add more on the strategies. No? So this is just a primary primer on the strategies. And then other nowcasting tools, we would have the growth factor. So this is an example again of, okay, so paano to iniintindi? Okay, a growth factor of above 1 means there is an increase in the incidences versus a growth factor below 1 means there is a decline. Okay? Minsan kasi yun lang yung kailangan nilang maintindihan, no? So you just give them that and then they're happy already. Okay? And that's our role, no? Not to make it too complicated for them. It's only when they ask about what's hidden behind the black box, then we explain. Okay? Next is the time-varying reproduction number. So ito po yung R0 na umaandar, no? Hindi po ito yung initial R0. Ito po yung everyday, pwede nating i-measure. So sometimes po hindi maganda yung number because of the type of data that we get, no? Again, ngayon pa lang po nagsistabilize yung ating proper way of encoding. So minsan po, hindi siya talaga magandang indicator. Maganda po siyang indicator pag maraming cases, no, at maayos yung data. Pero pag very sparse po yung data, hindi actually siya magandang gamitin, no, na indicator for your non-pharmaceutical interventions. But essentially, the RT represents the average number of people that an infected individual at a time T would expect to infect, no? assuming that the conditions remain the same. So, kailangan po yung assumption na yun ay nandoon pag sinasabi natin yung RT. But since RT changes every day, so take into consideration na po yung different conditions. Okay? So, again, at this point, ito po yung dapat nyong malaman. How do we access FASSSTER? Who has access? Why is it important to go through the self-registration? So everyone has a responsibility to protect this system. Alam po natin na usong-uso po ngayon ang hacking, and so we have a very, very big responsibility to ensure that the data is protected and the data is not misused or abused. Okay? And then what do we commit when we sign the data use and sharing agreement? So by just emphasizing this, medyo paulit-ulit lang natin, nagiging responsible naman po yung users natin. Okay? And then what are the methods that we can use to determine the current? Okay, so current, so yung now, okay? Epidemiological status of the place, how do I measure speed? How do I determine LGU risk classification? And what are the mitigation strategies per classification? Okay, next would be future. Okay, paano naman tayo mag-project? No? So, kung mag-open ako ng school, for example, gusto ko nang mag-open ng school by August, pero bago ako mag-open, ilan na ba yung confirmed cases by then? So, that's a specific example that's always asked of us. Okay, and so we first have a disclaimer. Just to emphasize na iba-iba po ang interpretation. Depende po sa nag-i-interpret. So, role natin yan na ma-interpret ito properly. No? So, this is an example of the time series projection page. Marami po yung features. You can choose what compartment to visualize. And then, meron po siyang fitness value. So, tinatry po namin abutin yung 100%. But of course, it's just a model. It will never be 100% accurate. And so the fitness value changes every time we run the models with a new data set. There's also an option to compare. No? We can do tracing po, by comparing different curves. And then the same scenarios can be viewed in a map. And meron pong time slider dyan sa baba that will allow us to see the changes in color over time. Okay, so this is the mathematical model that we are using. So this has been developed in Ateneo de Manila University, headed by Dr. LV De Lara Tuprio. So matagal pong pinag-isipan tong model na to. Hindi po ito katulad ng ibang model. Iba po ang basis nito. And that's the reason why we need to explain to the users of FASSSTER, and especially our trainers, kailangan po niyong intindihin itong model na to. Hindi naman po kailangan intindihin yung actual equations, okay? Kailangan lang po ma-explain natin kasi ito po yung foundation ng time series projections. So we have the different compartments. So we're using compartmental modeling and we're using differential equations. We have 6 compartments and we'll go through them briefly. Okay, so we have the susceptible compartment. So that's every one of us. Now we are all susceptible to the disease. That is our population. In the model, we use population density. And next is the exposed. So these are the people, which could also be us. Okay, kung lumalabas na tayo, we could be exposed but not yet infectious. And then we have our infectious asymptomatic and infectious symptomatic. So asymptomatic, they do not manifest the symptoms. COVID just comes and goes and then they're cured without even realizing it. Pwede rin pong infectious symptomatic. So ito po yung nagmamanifest ng symptoms. Therefore, itinitest po at pagka-confirmed positive, sila po yung nilalagay natin sa confirmed box. No? So at the confirmed box po, it is assumed in this model that they are not infectious anymore, meaning they are being managed well. No? So they're either in the hospital, confined, or in health facilities, or in strict home quarantine. And then of course, we have the recovered. Okay? Yung mga arrows po pababa, yan po yung mga deaths, okay, at the different time periods. Okay, table of values, kasi yung iba po medyo gusto nila, paano nyo kino-compute yung mga yan. So, sige, we give them the table of values and the current values as of now. So, para nyo maintindihan ito, kailangan nyo pong balikan yung equation for the Greek symbols, okay? And that's where we put these values, okay? I think for most, ang importante is yung testing capacity. So, ito yung delta S, no? Yung pag-move po from IS to C. Okay, yung delta S po. Okay? So right now, in May, ang ating testing capacity is computed at 22% na po. Okay, so we have ability to provide a simulation page. So dito po pipiliin yung lugar, quarantine, end of quarantine, another quarantine, end of that quarantine, health capacity score, and then the number of years you want to do the simulation. Intervention strategies na incorporated sa model natin. We assume, of course, minimum health standards are maintained. Variables that we modify would be community intervention, health capacity, and dates, and the number of people going out. Okay, so ito po yung mga equations namin right now, or measures of testing capacity, health capacity, and positivity rate. No? So yung positivity rate, yung the number of positives based on the number of tests. Okay, health capacity naman po is usually how many can we accommodate of these confirmed cases. And then yung testing capacity is really when the persons have been tested already and they are now considered confirmed cases. Okay. Okay. And then we also have a dashboard for the healthcare utilization. So dito rin po makikita yung number of 3 items kasi yung tinitingnan. Beds, no? So bed wards and isolation beds. Another one is ICU beds. And the third is mechanical ventilators. No? The higher the number, the higher the risk. Okay? Ibig sabihin, lower yan, pwede tayong mag-accommodate ng mga may sakit. No? Higher yan, wag muna. Ulit tayo, strict quarantine kasi hindi pa sila kasya. Okay? Okay, so at this point, ito po yung kailangan nating malaman. Anong feature ng FASSSTER ang ginagamit for projection? How do we trace or how do we compare? What are the compartments? Name and describe them. How do we derive input values to run the model? What is the proper way of interpreting the projections? Ken will walk you through that. And then what is the relevance of visualizing projections on the map? What are the different types of interventions to prevent and contain the spread? And what are the different health capacity variables? Okay. We will add more, of course, as we move from one chapter to the other of our lives as we experience the pandemic and of our role in the Department of Health and with our LGUs. So we expect some changes or improvements in FASSSTER in the succeeding months. Okay? Ang new features po namin in FASSSTER would be at the granular analysis. So localized na po tayo ngayon. And so we provide them with some information on the hotspots. No? So dalawa lang po right now because it's very fresh. Now, first is new cases. So we provide them with a count of the number of new cases every 7 days and every 14 days. So isipin nyo po, bakit 7 days? Bakit 14 days? Ano yung mas better? Next is a better way of identifying hotspots, which is spatial analysis. Okay? Ito po ay galing sa DOH. Ito rin po ang recommended ng WHO na maintindihan po natin yung stages ng transmission from 0 cases to imported cases or localized community transmission and large-scale community transmission. And so we provided you with a guide again for this one. And then ito po yung screen ng barangay hotspots. What we are going to put in the dashboard by Monday would be this visualization tool where we are now using a statistical tool called LISA, Local Indicators of Spatial Association. So pag tinignan niyo po yung hotspots dito, posible po na yung number dito do not match the visualization. So this one is actually a statistical correlation of a geospatial statistical correlation. So yung mga red po, yan po yung pwede nating sabihin na unang puntahan ng COVID special team to understand ba't ganyan yung situation dyan. Next po, yung high-low. So high is high density or surrounded by high density of cases. And then the high-low would be a high density surrounded by low density. No? So those are the two important indicators, again, of where you want the LGU to focus on. Okay, so samples lang po. And this is the last point of reflection, okay? So again, what does localization of monitoring efforts mean? What is the role of COVID Kaya in local analysis? What are the indicators to determine the stages of transmission? What are the corresponding public health interventions? How are hotspots determined? Anong difference ng 7-day versus 14 days? What does high indicate and what does high-low indicate? Okay? And lastly, so paano naman po yung operations ni FASSSTER pag may nagtanong, sino nagme-maintain? So we provided you with a list of the groups and agencies maintaining the actual system. How often are the models updated? So right now, it's on a daily basis. We hope that it will be real time, 3 times a day maybe, para ma-run natin yung models. And then how often are new features added? Every 2 weeks at best. Okay? And how do we get in touch with the FASSSTER team? Through the trainers, through kayo po, through the regions, through an email address, and through our talk to feature in the main platform. Okay, thank you very much. I now turn over the space to Ken for the demonstration. Thank you.
And magandang umaga po. So right now, after the PowerPoint presentation, what usually goes is yung demo na. So ang parang every training, there are 2 parts nga, sabi ni Faye kanina. First would be yung PowerPoint, which sabi naman ni Doc Rina, you can edit as you may or as you want. Tapos magpo-proceed na to the actual demonstration of the website. Ayan. Okay. So, ito yung landing page ng FASSSTER. So, if you go to fasster.ehhealth.ph/COVID-19, ito yung unang page na makikita. So, ito lang yung data, itong nasa gitna, daily forecast, na makikita ng public. So, nakalagay daily forecast. Yung peg nito is the daily weather forecast. Pero this one is for COVID-19. The data shown is for the public. Ito lang yung data na makikita sa FASSSTER dashboard na for the public na hindi kailangan ng registration or login. Again, reminder lang na si FASSSTER hindi po siya system designed for the public. It's a system designed for government agencies and government offices. So, BPI, DepEd, DOST, DOH, LGU, sila po yung main users. Pero ito is pinoprovide for the public. And meron ring links dito for the DOH COVID-19 tracker. Ito yung official COVID-19 tracker ng DOH for more statistical data and more comprehensive information, and the DOH situationer report. So if you're not familiar, the DOH provides 4 situationer reports kung saan merong analysis ng mga data na meron sila. Tapos dito, makakapili rin ng kung anong region yung available. Ayan. So, first thing to do would be to register. Ang sinasabi ko dito lagi is para lang siyang Facebook. In fact, mas simple pa siya sa Facebook. Sa left side would be the account details. Anong level ng office ninyo, national, regional, provincial, city, or municipal. Usually national, sila po yung mga nasa central office. Regional, let's say yung RIATF members, DOH regional offices, ganyan. Provincial, city, municipal, kung governor or LGU yung So, pipili lang. So, let's say regional level, kung anong office, Department of Health, Department of Science and Technology, ganyan. Then, enter the email. Important po na yung email ay tama na mailagay. Kasi, ang process po, important eh. The email you will enter here, reiterate po dapat ito tuwing training, the email you will enter here will receive an email from the system na nagsasabi doon, please verify your email, tapos i-click lang yung link. Ang ginagawa po nun ay bine-verify kung totoong nag-exist yung email. So parang pine-prevent po natin yung mga scam na email addresses. So pag kinlik yun, mabe-verify email. Yun po yung step 1. Sa step 2 naman, kailangan i-activate. Later, i-discuss ko kung ano ibig sabihin ng activation. So ilalagay dito yung password na tas personal info sa right side, first name, last name, and yung address. So pag pinili ko kasi dito, Region 7, and regional level office yung aking pinili dito sa left side, data lang po ng Region 7 ang makikita. The same goes kung province naman, yung pinili ko dito, for example, data lang ng Cebu yung makikita. Hindi niya makikita yung ibang province, or pag municipality, tapos city level lang dito, City of Bogo lang yung makikita. Ayan. Next would be after filling up this form, meron checkbox. So before checking the checkbox, kailangan basahin muna ito. In terms and conditions, ito naman po yung usual na terms and conditions na nakikita sa system. Pero ang special dito sa terms and conditions for FASSSTER would be, nakalagay po dito na yung users would abide by the National Privacy Commission guidelines na gagamitin lamang yung data sa FASSSTER for COVID-19 efforts. So hindi for other purposes. Lagi lang po for monitoring COVID-19. Ganyan. Tapos babasahin na lang po ito. Tapos the next document is the data privacy policy. This one naman po is for the protection of the users. Ang sinasabi naman po dito na yung binibigay na data ng users as FASSSTER system, including itong nasa form na ito, would be secured by the FASSSTER team and the FASSSTER system. Ito rin po ay required na National Privacy Commission. So parang ito naman po ay assurance sa users na hindi namin or natin ng FASSSTER team gagamitin yung data nila for other purposes rin. So once nabasa na yan, pwede na itong i-click, then create free account. Okay, once again, ang nangyayari is pag nag-create free account, makakatanggap ng email si user ng verification. Once na-verify, kailangan i-notify yung regional office ng DOST na nag-register na sila para i-activate naman yung account. So there are 2 steps. Verification, para lang malaman kung existing yung email, and activation. Activation para maka-log in. Kasi kung hindi naka-activate yung account, hindi makaka-log in. So once activated, na-forward yung email sa DOST and na-endorse ng DOST Regional Office of FASSSTER team, i-activate na po namin yung account. So once activated, ito po yung lalabas na dashboard. Again, this system is not for the public, kaya po merong registration and login process na nagaganap. Okay? So, first thing you will notice would be, ito po yung very basic statistics na pinoprovide for FASSSTER. For a more comprehensive statistics, pwede nga pong pumunta doon sa COVID kaya. Pero as a team, ito po yung we think na parang at a glance kailangan ng ating decision makers. So dito po sa mga boxes sa taas, yung breakdown, kung ilan yung confirmed, ilan yung nag-recover, ilan yung deaths, ganyan. So ayan po. So breakdown lang po ng cases. So sa left side naman would be the breakdown of the age group and sex. So dito naman po, ang visualize po dito ay buong Pilipinas pala. Pwedeng mapili. Let's go to NCR para lang mas localized. So for example, RIATF ng NCR. Madaling makita dito sa breakdown ng age and sex kung gaano karami, kung ano yung group na maraming cases. So dito makikita na bakit marami nagkakaroon ng COVID-19 sa age group na 30 to 39, both male and female. Next naman po, top 10 comorbidity. Ito po naman ay, pag comorbidity po, ito po yung kasabay na disease or illness ng ating COVID-19 patients. So makikita dito na 175 out of the 12,243 ay merong asthma. Ayan. Tapos dito po, nakalagay data as of June 8, 2020. Ito po, important naman para lang malaman kung kailan latest na update yung data. Ito po ideally ay daily, pero right now po kasi as the DOH is transferring the or centralizing the data collection to COVID kaya, nagkakaroon lang po kami ng problem sa FASSSTER team ng to the data cleaning, and minsan late rin po nabibigay sa amin yung data. Ideally po, daily ito. And maayos na po ito ay hopefully by next week. Okay? Next naman would be NCR. Dito naman, breakdown per provinces and ICCs and HUCs. ICCs po would be the independent component cities. HUCs would be the highly urbanized cities. So sa NCR, makikita na sa Quezon City, pinakamaraming number of cases, which is 2,487, followed by Manila, Makati, Caloocan. Yan. Tapos lastly, dito po sa box sa right, would be yung TanodCOVID reports. Once the integration is finalized, automatic na rin po lalabas sa FASSSTER yung TanodCOVID reports na pinapasa sa COVID kaya. So after mapasok sa COVID kaya, dapat papasok na rin sa FASSSTER. Dito naman po sa taas would be yung barangay hotspots. By barangay hotspots, ibig sabihin lang po nito ay anong barangay yung nagkaroon ng cases for the last 14 days at ilan yung cases na to. So for example, sa Quezon City, makikita na sa NCR, sa Tandang Sora yung pinakamataas with 85 cases for the last 14 days. And ito po may options for last 7 days. Pag last 7 days naman, makikita na nasa City of San Juan, Barangay West Crame, yung pinakamaraming naitalang cases last week for the past 7 days, which is 32 cases, which has 32 cases. So ito po, madali naman makita kung saan perhaps magandang mag-focus kasi ibig sabihin po nito, may nangyari but biglang dumami yung cases sa West Crame. Ito po ay barangay level. Dito naman po sa healthcare utilization na tab, makikita yung healthcare utilization per region. Hindi po ito per province or per municipality or city. Per region po, anong ibig sabihin nito? So divided into 2. Beds for severe cases and critical care. Ito naman pong beds for severe cases kasi merong dalawang tinitingnan na factors for this, the bed wards and the isolation beds. Ano ibig sabihin ng 57.30%? Ang ibig sabihin po niyan ay 57.30% ng total number of bed wards ay already occupied or ginagamit na po. So, may breakdown. Ibig sabihin nun, 608 out of 1,061 bed wards are already being used. The same goes for isolation beds and for critical care for ICU beds and mechanical ventilators. Again, reiterate ko lang po na this one is for region level. Okay, dito naman sa baba would be the breakdown per either provinces, HUCs, ICCs, or per hospital. Safe zone is 0 to 30%. Warning zone is 30 to 70%. Danger zone is 70 to 100%. So, pwedeng breakdown per provinces, HUCs, ICCs, or per hospital. So, makikita dito yung mga hospital na nagsasubmit ng kanilang data to the DOH. So, naiintindihan po namin na hindi ito comprehensive, pero ideally, yung mga hospital po ay magsasubmit. Ito, pwedeng makita lahat ng hospital. So, makikita dito, Metro North, St. Luke's, yan. Okay, so ito yung first page ng ating FASSSTER dashboard. The next page, the epidemiological status of COVID-19 would be naman yung tinatawag natin na nowcasting. Bakit nowcasting yung tawag? Nowcasting kasi ang tinitingnan po natin is yung current status, yung status as of today. So let's go back to NCR para lang may example tayo. Ayan, so dito naman makikita yung current classification ng pipiliing region, province, or city municipality. Usually po ginagawa ito per province or per HUCs or ICCs. Pero for this demo, ipakita ko lang po per region. So sa NCR, ang classification is already sa acceleration stage. And paano nakaka-classify? Ano yung basis for classification? Ang basis po would be these three: the total number of cases, the doubling time, and the critical care utilization. The total cases would be yung actual total cases as of June 8. The doubling time is calculated na ng system. This means na ang doubling time ay the number of days when we expect the number of cases to double. So, parang sinasabi po dito na in 6.85 days, ina-expect po natin na dumoble itong 12,243. The next would be critical care utilization. Ito po yung na-discuss na kanina sa previous page, pero nakalagay po ulit dito kasi factor po siya for the classification. So, itong critical care utilization, ang basis naman niya ay itong tatlo: the intensive care unit, isolation beds, and mechanical ventilators. Ang kinukuha po, important dito, ay yung maximum. So, critical care utilization, 53.42%, ang basis po niya ay itong isolation beds. Ibig sabihin ng 53.42% ng isolation beds sa buong NCR ay already occupied. So, ayun po, yung maximum, hindi po itong ina-average, ang kinukuha po ay maximum. Tapos once you know these three factors, itong total cases, doubling time, critical care utilization, pwede na pong gamitin itong framework na nasa right side. So, doubling time of 6.85 days, so less than 7 days, and critical care utilization of 53.42%. So the classification is acceleration. Pero this framework ay actually for guide for you or for the users. Kasi ang ginagawa po natin ay ang system na po ang nagko-compute. Ito nga po, yung classification, siya na po magsasabi sa inyo kung acceleration stage ba kayo or other stages, kung recognition, initiation. Ito pong mga classification na ito ay meron required or recommended strategies. So for acceleration, ang required strategy ay suppression. So since accelerating pa, kailangan po natin isuppress yung pagbilis ng spread ng cases. Okay, the next two graphs, ito pong nasa left side would be the growth factor over time. Na-discuss ito ni Doc Nina na kapag ang growth factor ay more than 1, ibig sabihin po nun, tumaas yung cases nyo for the past week. And kung ang growth factor ay less than 1, ibig sabihin nun bumaba yung number of cases nyo for the past day pala, for the past day. Ang tinitingnan po kasi dito ay rolling average ng 7 days. So yung rolling average ninyo today, when compared to the rolling average yesterday, 7-day rolling average yesterday ay either tumaas or bumaba. So again, hindi nyo na po kailangan i-compute kasi si FASSSTER na po yung mag-compute. Ang titingnan po dito would actually be the growth factor, yung kulay green. Sa right side naman po, yun rin po, 7-day rolling average of new cases, pero ang tinitingnan naman is number of new cases per day. Next graph naman po would be the critical care utilization rate. Dito naman po naka-visualize kung nasa ang zones na yung inyong healthcare critical care facilities. So, yung blue mechanical ventilators, intensive care units yung orange, yung green po would be the isolation beds. So, makikita dito na nasa warning zone na or 30 to 70% yung intensive care units and isolation beds. Meanwhile, nasa safe zone pa ang mechanical ventilators. Ibig sabihin nun, medyo okay pa and marami-rami pa yung mechanical ventilators sa NCR. Repeat ko lang po, ito pong critical care utilization of facilities ay per region. Hindi po siya per province or per municipality or city. Ito lang po ay per region. Okay, next would be the risk classification per province, HUCs or ICCs. Ito naman po ay makikita kung ano ng stage ng epidemic per province, HUC or ICC. So dito as of June 8, makikita na yung region actually ay acceleration stage pa, pero yung mga HUCs sa ilalim ng region ay nasa deceleration stage na. Perhaps kasi ang doubling time natin ay bumaba na, ay tumaas na or tumatagal na. So nasa deceleration stage na. And lastly, ito pong nasa baba would be yung RT or the time varying reproduction number. Na-discuss rin ito ni Doc Rina. So ito pong time varying reproduction number, ang important rin po dito ay yung ang number 1. Ito pong line na blue. Dahil po, isipin po natin na reproduction number, ito po yung parang basis for the infectiousness of a disease. If more than 1, ibig sabihin po nun, nakakahawa pa siya and hindi pa control yung epidemic. And if it's less than 1, ibig sabihin nun, controlled na yung epidemic. Kung mapapansin po dito, tumataas, bumababa sa 1 yung ating RT. Wait lang po, i-stop share ko lang po. Saglit. Nagkaroon ako ng problem. Okay, next. Okay, so again, ito po yung nowcasting page. Ito po ay can be localized, again, per location. The next page will be the time series projection for yung forecasting. Ito po, tuwing binubuksan po itong page na to, lalabas lagi itong disclaimer na to. FASSSTER is a flexible platform that will generate projections based on a combination of selected scenarios. The model relies on assumptions for accurate interpretation. Different assumptions will affect the way numbers are interpreted. Ang sinasabi ko po dito lagi ay merong 2 things na dapat tandaan. The first thing would be yung before we interpret the data or the projections in FASSSTER, dapat po naintindihan natin yung assumptions na ginamit. Ibig sabihin po nun, dapat naintindihan po natin yung mathematical compartments. Hindi naman po importanteng in-depth, pero dapat naintindihan natin or alam natin yung ibig sabihin ng different compartments, ano ibig sabihin ng susceptible, ano ibig sabihin ng exposed, ano ibig sabihin ng IA, IS, ng confirmed. Sino-sino yung mga nandun sa compartments na yun. Tapos, second point would be, dapat po i-reiterate na yung assumptions for FASSSTER is unique to FASSSTER and may not be applicable to other models. Ibig sabihin po ay yung mga ginamit pong assumptions ng different models may be are really different. So, kung merong ibang grupo na gumagawa ng COVID-19 projection model, ang assumption po nila probably ay magkaiba sa assumption na ginamit sa FASSSTER. The same goes yung assumption ng FASSSTER may be different sa assumptions na ginamit nila. So once naintindihan na po natin yun, pwede na po tayong mag-project. Let's say, so ito po yung magiging parang tool natin para mamili. City of Manila. Alam ko na. Quezon City na lang. Try natin Quezon City kung maganda yung fit. Nagkaroon ba ng community quarantine? Yes. Kailan? Hanggang kailan? Di ba? Hanggang May 31. Nagkaroon ba ng modified community quarantine? Yes, currently. Naka-GCQ tayo. So sabihin natin hanggang June 30 yung GCQ. And okay, ito pong page na to, we're currently updating this one. Pero right now, ang dapat po natin maintindihan, community quarantine here would indicate yung first quarantine na ginawa. So ECQ up to MECQ. Tapos, itong modified community quarantine would be the GCQ na in-implement ngayon. Itong MCQ effect would be the percentage of people allowed to go out. So, ito po ay estimate lamang. So, parang sinasabi na pag GCQ, parang 70% ng people ay allowed to go out na since ina-allow na silang pumasok sa kanilang trabaho. Itong Start of Expanded Health Capacity, ang naka-default po ngayon ay 22%. So parang isa-set namin na minimum, 22%. So pag sinabi dito na starting, let's say June 1, 22%. Ayan. So pag venue, hintay lang mag-load. Ito na yung projections niya. So sa left side would be yung mga different lines or projections na pwede ninyong makita. So deaths, ilan yung mild, ilan yung severe, ilan yung critical. So yan yung parang pwedeng makita. Pero ang usual na pinoproject naman ay confirmed. So sa right side naman, yung fitness value is dito. Ito yung currently ini-improve. Ang ideal actually dito would be 90%. So hindi maganda yung fit nitong Quezon City. Pero we're continuously improving this one para ma-achieve yung 90%. So right now lang, 73%. So hindi maganda yung pagkaka-fit ng actual data. So dito naman would be, itong next, yung comparison with other scenarios. So ang original scenario natin is MCQ effect ay 70% and health capacity ay 22%. Tama ba? 22%. So dito pwedeng quote-unquote maglaro yung mga users kung ano yung magiging effect. Let's say, kung ang health capacity natin ay nag-improve to 40%, anong mangyayari? So add trace. So makikita na pag nag-improve ng 40%, malaki yung ibinaba from 53,000, naging 18,000 na lang yung peak number of cases. So what if 50%? Ito, mataas na yung and biglang bumaba na yung cases. So ayan, so dito pwede maglaro yung ating mga users. Ang kailangan lang laging i-remind is yung fitness value. Meron kasing time na even though useful itong projections, hindi siya ganun ka-stable if the fitness value is around this, actually around 70%. Ang ideal nga po is 90%. If you scroll down naman, ito naman po makita yung contribution ng Asian Institute of Management, which is sila po yung nagpo-provide for a recommended hospital capacity requirement. Si AIM po yung naggawa nito and pinoproduce lang natin yung visualization sa FASSSTER. So ito po ay currently also being updated and improved. Again, this is just a recommendation. So by hospital capacity requirements, ito po yung parang sinasabi na kailangan per day sa ating hospitals. So ilang patient mask yung kailangan, ilang PPEs, ilang regular beds, ilang ICU beds. And dito naman sa baba would be for the Ligtas Center requirements. Ayan. So ito po yung forecasting. I suggest na paglaruan nyo rin po muna ito before going to training para lumabas yung mga tanong ninyo. And lastly, would be still part of the forecasting page would be the visualization through a map. Ganun rin, meron ring mga options dito. So by cities, tapos ang compartment na visualize ay confirm with community quarantine until when? May 31. With modified community quarantine until when? Sabihin natin 3 buwan. Ay, June, July, August. 4 na buwan and MCQ effect of 70%. Health capacity set to minimum muna 22. Tapos visualize. Ito po, same lang to ng forecasting pero ang visualization ay through a map para sa decision makers natin, madaling makita kung saan dapat mag-focus. So the darker the color, the more cases there is actually. Ayan, so parang makikita dito na, uy, mukhang dumadark yung sa Manila, baka kailangan natin mag-focus doon. Let's introduce more stringent intervention strategies there compared to, let's say, ito Pateros. Compared to Pateros na hundreds lang yung number of cases. Sa Manila, umaabot ng ang projections to 100,000. Ayan, so part rin to ng forecasting page pero hiniwalay lang for the map visualization. So, ayun. Ito na yung end ng demo. I think comprehensive yung nagawang demo today compared to before kasi na-go in-depth niya for the training of trainers. So, before we proceed with the question and answer portion, let me give the floor to nandito na ba si Doc MM? Yan, to Dr. Marlene De Leon for the TanodCOVID presentation.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you, Ken. Ken, check ko lang ulit. Okay ba yung audio ko?
Yes po.
Okay, salamat. Good afternoon. Ay, hindi pa pala. Good morning sa inyong lahat. Malapit lang lunch. I'll be very fast. Simple lang naman po kasi si TanodCOVID. So I'll just move on with the introduction of TanodCOVID and also for demonstration of the system. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Good morning again. I will be introducing TanodCOVID. We coined it as tundo ng LGUs laban sa COVID-19. Just like FASSSTER, this is TanodCOVID was developed in collaboration with several groups of people, with DOST, DOH, Ateneo, UP, and PHC, and well, the reason why we are able to provide the service is free for all citizens in the Philippines because Globe and Globe Labs is working with us in providing the whole service for free. Okay. So what is TanodCOVID? It is an SMS-based system, okay? Mainly for initial connection of data for contact tracing. Okay, so if you're going to be more specific about it, okay, it's really for case detection. Okay, because it does not. If people would ask you para contact tracing ba yan, it's actually more for initial contact of self-reporting citizens to their LGU. Okay? So its value is for the increase in case detection. So we are hoping that people would help the LGUs in reporting their symptoms, such that the LGUs would be informed and they would know what to do with this. They would be given proper instructions on how to move forward and how to treat themselves in the next few days. Okay? So because this is just an SMS-based system, then we are hoping that it's not going to be a problem with people to be self-reporting citizens because they will just report via text. Okay? They don't have to show themselves or physically bring themselves to a health community center or to the hospital. Okay? To inform the government and get proper instructions on how to move forward. So this is just a screenshot of the login screen. Uh, I am assuming that you have logged in. Most of you were able to request your accounts. Just let me know if you're having a problem with that. Okay. Later, I'll tell you some stories about it. Okay. All right. So, what is TanodCOVID and who can use TanodCOVID? Okay, so there are two sets of users who can use TanodCOVID. So first, yung mamamayan, yung citizens, okay, the public, okay, which will use the SMS application. Okay. The good thing about this one is that it does not require for the public to use a smartphone, okay, and it doesn't require an internet connection. So, any feature phone, yung mga Nokia natin nung araw, yung mga Samsung natin nung araw, yan, we can use that, okay, as long as there is a messaging application with it. Okay. And the next component or next group of people who can use TanodCOVID are the LGU representatives. So this may be their health team, the DRRM teams, okay? Even the epidemiological surveillance units, okay, at different levels, at the municipality level, at the provincial level, or at the regional level. So they can use this as well. All right. Because this is a system that will ask for sensitive information or at least identifiable information, okay, then it's really, we are required to ask the citizens to register, to voluntarily register to use the service. Okay? So this is a requirement of the National Privacy Commission, okay, that they register for the account. So just like the old value-added service, yung VAS system of our telcos, so we follow certain syntax, okay, in order to register. So you just use the register and then the address, okay. Actually, it is better kung wala ng comma, okay, or quit dun sa address. Just straight away write the address, even at the barangay level lang, okay. So it can be easily geolocated, reverse geolocated by our system, and then a comma to delimit, okay, the number of people in the household. Yan, bilang ng tao sa bahay. So ito po yung example, reg, okay, and then yung address, and then the number of people in the house. Okay. Now, where will they send the number? Okay. The number is created for each LGU or each municipality or city who who signifies intent to use TanodCOVID. Okay. Mamaya ipapakita ko sa demonstration kung paano sila mag-request from their end. Okay? So similar to the process that you went through when registering for account. Okay? So once they submit a letter of intent that we're going to use the system, then we from our end, we create a separate number for each municipality or LGU. Okay, and that number, once it's active, okay, we send them digital collaterals, similar to this one. Okay, So we send them digital collateral similar to this one. Actually, there are about 9 different versions of digital collaterals that shows how users may register, okay, to use the service. Okay. So the numbers will be indicated in the box here, inside the green box. Okay. And it will be sent to their focal person, okay, as soon as the numbers become active and ready to receive the text. Okay. How can the users use TanodCOVID? Technically, users, the public, may just send the symptoms, okay, that they are feeling after they have registered, successfully registered to the service. So this is an example. This is the list of symptoms that is now being accepted by TanodCOVID. There are 11 all in all. Okay, and each symptom is associated to a letter. Okay, so the the self-reporting citizen will just have to indicate the letter that is associated to a particular symptom. This list is always sent, okay, to uh, the user, to the subscriber of the service. Okay, so first it will be sent upon registration, upon successful registration. So it's just like their código, okay, when sending reports in terms of their symptoms. Okay. So similar uh, to registration, okay, so there is a need to use the commas, okay, to delimit the symptoms that are being reported, okay, such that our system will be able to automatically parse the letters and be able to identify which symptoms to report. So these are the different information, that are identifiable information that is sent to TanodCOVID. So the mobile number and the address. Okay. So aside from the symptoms, the mobile and the number and the address are sent. That's why it's really important that we, just like FASSSTER, that we take care of the data that we see in TanodCOVID. Okay. So the web application is only accessible by LGU users or DOH and DOST users, because they will see these identifiable information. Right. So these are also some of the other features of TanodCOVID, dealing of report summaries, map visualization, and also downloading Excel files. Okay. So what we always say for TanodCOVID is that we look at it as a way for the public, the LGU, and the DOH to cooperate and in the mitigation, okay, of the COVID-19. The public will be a big help in terms of case detection. Okay? They can just send SMS reports, okay, regardless whether it is COVID-19 or related. If they are experiencing symptoms, it's really important that they report these symptoms, because we really don't know, okay, whether they are COVID-19 related or not. Okay, so it's better to err on the side of safety. Okay. All right. So SMS report will be, okay, received by the LGU. Okay. The mobile number and the symptoms will be seen, including the address. This person, okay, is very important. Okay. The reason why we are asking LGUs to request or to signify their intent to use, because they need to be able to identify who will be this who will be this person. Okay. They will be responsible for verifying reports that are received in TanodCOVID. Okay. They may call them or they may visit them So who are they? They may be uh, the local surveillance unit teams. Okay. They may be DRRM personnel. They may be LGU health personnel. Okay. So normally we ask the the LGUs to submit um, together with their letter of intent the list of authorized users. Okay, so these authorized users are the people that we will expect, okay, to um, to request for an account and that we will activate, okay, later on. Okay. So similar to FASSSTER, requesting for an account is just a way for us to a way for them to secure an account. Okay. However, there's still a manual activation needed from our end to ensure that they really are authorized users, okay, by the local chief executive. So upon calling, let's go back here, upon calling the self-reporting citizen, usually they have protocols to follow. Para they're like they have a series of questions that they ask in order to triage them. Okay, whether they are possible suspects. Okay, and if they need to get more information. Okay, such that it may be entered as a case information. Okay. So yeah. And then once, for example, assuming that a particular report is indeed valid, okay, they verify that the report is not a mistake or it's not a joke. They follow the COVID via protocol in terms of data encoding. Okay. So all the information, additional information that is gathered from the self-reporting citizen that will complete the case information for that person, okay, will be entered in COVID Kaya. And as what Doc Rina and Ken has been saying all this time, is that we collect data or we get our data in faster, okay, from COVID Kaya. So by stressing to them that they need to encode their data in COVID Kaya, such that we are able to get better quality data in faster, then in faster we will be able to provide better visualizations and summaries that will aid them in decision making. So this is TanodCOVID. This is the live site. The site that you requested an account for is the test site, which I will use now for the demonstration. Okay. Later on, I will ask Kay to provide this as for you guys, okay, for your use. I also included exercises towards the end, which you can do, okay, to simulate, okay, how an LGU may use the system. So let me move on and share my screen for the demonstration. This is my demonstration. Wait. No. Let me log out first. Okay, so this is the login page. Okay, so I'm not sure if everyone was already able to create their own accounts. Okay, to request an account, especially when you train the LGUs, you request account. Okay, they need to provide their email. So just like FASSSTER, they have to register themselves. Okay, the users will have to do this by themselves because they have to agree to the terms and conditions and the privacy policy and the data user sharing agreement. Okay, they're on. Okay. So I'm not sure if this is as easy as Facebook, okay, because there's something as that will be uploaded later on. Okay. So yun, you just log in your email, okay, the mobile number, the password, okay, then confirm password and the first name and the last name. Okay. So ideally, this request account is going to be used by DOH users, the DOST users, and the LGU users. Okay. So there are different levels to what data may be accessed or what data may be viewed in Tanod. So it may be at the regional level, provincial level, or the city municipality level. Okay. But first, you really need to provide the location, okay, where the user will be, such that as a user, I will only see data that is within my boundary restrictions or administrative restrictions. So if I'm an LGU of, let's say, Region 1, Ilocos Sur, okay, of Gregorio del Pilar, ayan, municipality, okay, and then I need to also include the the barangay where I live. So importante 'yun. Okay? Barangay, okay? And then what kind of user, okay? Depende 'yon kasi kunyari kung LGU user ka, okay? So you need to upload, okay, a letter of intent issued by the LGU, okay, and the list of authorized users, okay, to secure a unique LGU access code. Pag DOH po, just a list of users authorized by the regional director. Okay, so it can be just a letter. Okay, and from DOST again, the list of users from the regional director. So it's important that you upload the file. Pag hindi pa nag-upload ng file, then walang mangyayari dun sa submission. Okay. Now, I got, ayan, kailangan i-check kung if you agree to the terms and conditions. Alright. Yesterday, I got an inquiry, parang help, I cannot submit, I cannot create an account because the submit button is not seen. Okay? So, yun, syempre, sabihin lang natin, control minus minus or control plus plus para palakihin. So, yun lang yung nangyari sa kanya. Kailangan lang palakihin yung resolution. Okay? Alright, so let me just log in with my own account. So similar to FASSSTER, meron tayong talk to dito. So there are people who are talking to us already, or asking for help. Dito siya nanghingi ng help, I cannot submit. Yeah. Anyway, what you see here, if you are an LGU, DRRM user, okay, then you will automatically be shown the reports module where all the TanodCOVID reports are seen. Okay. Now, how is this sorted? This is sorted by the open status first. Okay. The verified status and invalidated status are way at the bottom. Okay. So use this way we are able to we're able to see all the open reports first that we may validate as soon as possible. So you can also filter according to status, like just open only. You don't need to list down or to see the verified. Okay? You can also filter, let's say, the most known symptoms, okay, that most likely be associated with COVID-19, lagnat, and perhaps kawalan ng panlasa o pangamoy. Yes. Okay? So they may be filtered that way. So basta may lagnat at basta merong kawalan lasa ng pangamoy, it will be shown here. So there, for example, open. So initially, when TanodCOVID receives the report, it's open. Right? Now, as a user of the TanodCOVID web, there might be other users verifying reports with me, because if it's only one person verifying reports, then it's gonna be a tall order. So most probably the LGUs will assign, let's say, 2 or 3 people at a given time to verify reports. Okay. You have to be able to let the other users know that you are already verifying a report. So how do you do that? So you click on manage and then click on verification in progress. So this way, other users will not call this number anymore, okay? Because the verification is already in progress. Then it's either you verify them, assuming that after the verification process that indeed the report is true, that may be related to COVID-19. Okay? So even if not sure, basta may symptoms sila and you verify that the report is real, then you just click on verify. Okay? So now it becomes verified. So what if, for example, ay nagkamali, hindi pala verified, hindi pala siya totoo. Okay? So you can just reverse that, click on unverify, and then you may click on invalidate, okay, if it's not valid. All right? Okay. So it's quite possible that upon talking to the self-reporting citizen, they might not have reported other symptoms that they are experiencing. So you can edit the report, okay, and add more symptoms. Okay? So you can add more symptoms, like for example, they are also now experiencing panlalamig or chills, okay? Or they're also experiencing sakit ng ulo. So you can add that and then just click on submit. You can also find out, let's say for example, sometimes kasi when we register, it's important for us to understand that we are reverse geolocating the addresses that are sent to TanodCOVID, okay? And we use the OpenStreetMap API in doing the reverse geolocation. Okay? So sometimes the barangay or the address that is given does not return anything from the OSM API would not return anything, okay? Because it doesn't match any barangay that is in their records. When that happens, then it's quite possible that well, it will be possible pala. I'm quite sure that the location that will be indicated here would be the center of that LG, of that municipality or city. Okay? So then you can, later on, you can just fix the location here by typing in the correct barangay here and then click on the submit button. So that's one way for them to correct the data in terms of location of the thing. So just click on submit for that. Okay, so that's the report. Okay. And then there are users, okay, who are going to be categorized as system or user administrators within their locality. So as user administrators, they'll be able to see, okay, the users in the that are registered in the locality. Normally, we wouldn't see this email, first name, and last name, okay? For a self-reporting citizen who registered via SMS, because uh, we don't require them to send their names, okay, and their email addresses, okay, when they register. Okay. The only reason that you see this is because these are, I think, you guys who requested or who registered for an account, okay, here in TanodCOVID web, okay, because you are training other users. So for the others, you will see that yun. No email address, no first name, no last name. Okay? So the people with names here are those who are also web registered. Now, what will happen? So they can edit, as a user administrator, can edit the profile. You can change the city or municipality and also change where, which barangay, for example, a particular verifier can only see data from. Okay. Okay. Visualize. So let's go to visualize and then reports. So we can visualize, this is the reverse geolocation that we are doing in TanodCOVID. The value here is that you will be able to see which areas have reports received. Okay. For now, what you can see are reports coming from all over. Okay. Why? Because this is a test site and people from all over are logged into this. Okay. And we have been receiving reports from all over using a test site because others have been testing it as well. So you will see clusters here. So these clusters may indicate possible outbreaks. Okay. Why? Because these clusters represent reports received by TanodCOVID. Okay. Now, similar to the reports module, you can filter in terms of status. Of course, when you are a decision maker, then you would like to find out verified reports only, right? So you can filter that out such that you will only see reports visualized, okay, that are verified only. So you may want to click in on the clusters to find out, okay, where the reports are coming from. Okay. So each pin here is, okay, a report received from a user, okay, that subscribed to the system. If you want to see the exact report that is received, then you can click on the report number, and this is the exact report that was received. Okay. Okay. So you can, as you can see, this particular report has been updated, okay, 3 times. Okay. And this is the latest version that you can see. What else? There are users. You can also see users, okay, in the visualization. These are the registered users, where they are. Okay. There. So these are the registered users to TanodCOVID. So so far. So you can find them according to how they are geolocated in TanodCOVID. So similar to okay, so these are the names, no? Then finally, the summaries. Okay. Summaries will show you the total number of reports that are received by TanodCOVID so far in your locality. Okay, so you will see here a pie chart, disaggregation of the status of the report. So open, verified, in progress, invalid. Okay. Also, a line graph of reports received by day. You can also filter this to, let's say, verified only. Okay. And then on a weekly basis. Okay. And then perhaps for the month of May. So you filter that out, then it should provide information in that. Okay. So, dalawa lang. If we remove this, filter all reports that are verified okay, for a week. Okay. If it's daily, so it should change over time. Okay. Then you can also download the reports, like you want to download only verified reports, or sometimes you want to download, let's say, for example, the LGU users would like to do a home visit to verify, then you just choose open, okay, and then download the Excel file. Yeah. So allow to download, then we can reset the filters. So other ways of looking at this here, additional summaries, okay? In terms of symptoms, how many cases were reported according sa hirap sa paghinga, kung lagnat, and so on. And also, let's say, in terms of the combination that was reported. So 14 people reported that yan, hirap sa paghinga, lagnat, pagkatayin, ubo, and JICAF already sent message. Okay? Yeah. There's also the user manual here. We update this. Okay. So in case the users would like to find a more detailed information on how to use the system, then you just click the user manual. It will redirect you to a site, okay? To a Google Drive, a Google Doc. There. So this ends my demonstration of TanodCOVID. Okay. Are there any questions?
Ano po, Doc meron pong mga
Yes.
questions sa chat. So, basahin ko pa. What is the difference between TanodCOVID and Stay Safe?
Yes. TanodCOVID and Stay Safe, okay, so they are two different applications. TanodCOVID uses SNS application to allow citizens to report their symptoms. Stay Safe is what we call a digital contact tracing application. So you need a smartphone, and an internet connection, okay, to use Stay Safe as it was designed or expected as it is expected to use. Okay. Stay Safe will also as a self-reporting citizen, you can also report their symptoms there. However, because we understand that not everyone has access to internet, not everyone has access to smartphones, then um, that's the main difference. Because TanodCOVID has higher penetration rate in terms of allowing citizens to report their symptoms. saan po namin pwedeng makuha ang file para ma-attach namin during registration for TanodCOVID? Okay. As I said, yung file na yon, this is a letter of intent that should be written by the local chief executive ng LGU po. Okay? So yung mayor, magsusulat ng letter of intent na gagamitin yung TanodCOVID at isasama po doon yung listahan ng authorized users. Ibig sabihin, yung file na yon, okay, i-issue po, okay, bibigyan po ng copy dapat ng mga authorized users. Yun po yung i-upload niyo when you register for an account. How can you register as trainer and data? Trainer and data interpreter. Para sa
Kung sa
ano po ba
FASSSTER
ito?
po,
Sa FASSSTER, no?
kung FASSSTER po, same registration process lang po. Pero may nagtanong po kanina about sa level of access po, kung pwedeng regional level. Sa FASSSTER po, ang arrangement po ata is for trainers. Ang magiging access po ay regional level. So, normal lang po na registration process, magre-register sa website using your email, tapos just inform the DOST regional office, your respective regional office, na kayo po ay trainer or data interpreter para ang i-approve pong account sa inyo ay regional level.
Okay. So may tanong dito, as volunteers, can you access the TanodCOVID site? If you're not an authorized user by the LGU, you can only access the test site. Okay? Because there are identifiable information that are available inside the site, and we want to maintain the confidentiality of the people of our self-reporting citizens. Okay?
Apo. So, bibigyan po ba sila Doc M ng account sa test site?
Mag-register lang po dun sa test site. Register lang ng account and then we will activate your account. So, hindi ko pa po natitignan yung activation interface namin. But I will be activating as soon as training ends. Okay?
From Ma'am...
Paano kung...
Ay, sige po. Meron po na-skip na question. From Ma'am Jocelyn. We have 2 LGUs who are already registered sa TanodCOVID. When do they expect to receive the dedicated number from Globe po?
Which LGUs po ba ito, ma'am? Because I normally I send an activation. Masbate. Parang wala naman po yatang na Mobo and Esperanza. Wala pong nag-request po ng ano. Wala po kaming na-receive na... So, kailangan po kasing mag-register sila. Mag-request ng account through the TanodCOVID site. Okay? FASSSTER pala to eh. Ay, ikaw pala yan, Ken. So, yun. So, they have to go through that request account. Okay? I'm not sure how they requested or how they registered. Ito. Wala po kasing pumapasok dun sa system namin. Again, importante po kasi na merong letter of intent from the local chief executive na i-upload. Alright? Kasi hindi po natin makikita yung request nila kung wala po yun. So, when you train LGUs, please ask them to read the instructions carefully when requesting for an account. Everything is there. Okay? They just have to follow the instructions.
Next po. Paano kung sa academe, saan po makakakuha ng letter?
Academe, as trainer po.
Opo, siguro.
As trainer, Basta mag-upload na lang kayo ng list of users from the academe. Yeah, okay na yun.
Doc M, for
Basta just to follow, kasi test lang naman. Okay.
volunteer trainers and
Oh, yeah, volunteer trainers from the academy. Yeah. Yes, just Miss Faye.
Yes po.
Miss Faye, would we have
Distract ko po yung
can you
DOST.
just may sign up form naman sila, no?
Yes po.
From the academy. Ayun, so can we just furnish them with with the list na lang po?
Offices po na magbigay sa mga volunteers ng authorization letter to upload.
Yes. Sila na lang po yung magbigay na para doon namin i-activate. Apo. Thank you.
Ano po yung process ng deployment of FASSSTER Scholar volunteers? Kailan po sila magpirma ng contract of service? This one po, I think makakasagot si Faye from PCHRD.
For scholar volunteers po kasi, ang sabi po ni Attorney Rams from Office ni Yusek Brenda, meron po silang contract with DOST SEI. Separate po yung contract nila doon sa EOR namin for experts from RHRD.
Tapos, so, sino po yung kukontakin nila, Miss Faye?
For process po ng deployment, you need to coordinate with your DOH. Yung DOST regional offices will coordinate with their DOH regional offices para malaman po nila kung saan i-deploy yung mga scholar, volunteer, and coders. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Faye.
Next, how realistic is the value of the doubling time? The doubling time naman po is based on literature, and this one is proposed by our expert. So the expert here would be the Dr. John Wong of Epimetrics. Siya po yung consultant rin naman ng DOH. So he's the one who actually proposed this one as an epidemiologist. So this one, if kung ang question is for if it's realistic, I think it's realistic naman po. Kasi marami ng literature yung nagsabi na ganito dapat yung computation. How do we apply for an access sa in-depth discussion on mathematical and statistical equations used in the FASSSTER model? Right now po, we're currently still creating this track or course, and we'll update na lang po yung DOST regional offices when we're finally open for this one, for the training of the math equations. Pero you may send an email to FASSSTER.COVID@gmail.com to show your intent in going through this kind of training, yung sa mathematical and statistical equations. Ito kay Ms. Faye ulit. If, for example, we have volunteered for a municipality as data interpreter, automatic ba na trainer din kami?
Ito po, depende po sa willingness ninyo. Kung okay lang po sa inyo na both data interpreter and trainer roles yung gampanan ninyo. Kasi may mga nag-volunteer po na isang tao lang siya pero both data interpreter and trainer yung roles na gagampanan niya. Pwede rin naman pong trainer lang or pwede rin data interpreter lang. Yun pong assignments nyo, i-discuss sa inyo ng DOST regional offices ninyo.
Yes po. So for questions regarding your roles, your contracts, ganyan, please coordinate na lang po with the DOST regional office, respective DOST ROs po. How long would it take to activate the FASSSTER account? Ano po, usually pag na-endorse na po ng DOST, ina-activate na po ng team ng regional office po ninyo, ina-activate na po. Yung name sa Excel file na po ba ang basis for activation? No po. Iba po. Kasi nagsasubmit po sa amin, meron po kaming sarili na forms for the DOST regional offices kung saan po, sila po yung nag-i-input ng email to activate. So this one po is for security rin. na parang it's a sign of their approval na na pwede na nga po i-activate yung email addresses. May agreement between DOH and DOST regarding the deployment of scholars po ba? Faye?
Ito po, kung about volunteer encoders, wala po kasi kaming kopya ng DOST-SEI contract. And hindi po ako sure kung sinong nakausap ni Yusek Brenda sa DOH, but we will coordinate with DOH and isasend na namin yung list ng volunteer encoders ninyo para makascade na nila sa regional offices nila. Yan po. Pero for DOH, pero for volunteer data interpreters and trainers po, you need to coordinate with DOST regional offices for assignment. Yan lang po. Thank you.
Can we have a copy of this training session, both video and PowerPoint? Yes po, pero ayun po, reiterate ko lang po yung sinabi ni Doc Rina na yung video and PowerPoint is really just for your consumption. Wag po natin screenshots or wag po natin i-share sa iba dahil po meron pong mga sensitive data na contained dito. Is it possible for DOST regional offices to access real regional TanodCOVID page? Doc M.
Iisip ko nga eh. Pwede naman po. Pwede naman po.
Okay po.
For what purpose po kaya?
Sige po, habang sumasagot. Sagutin ko rin po. Once po natapos kasi yung integration ng COVID kaya, ng FASSSTER at ng TanodCOVID, yung TanodCOVID reports po, lalabas rin siya sa FASSSTER. Pero hindi ganun ka-comprehensive yung yung makikita compared sa Pero may data na papasok sa FASSSTER. Kung number of reports lang po yung titingnan, I think makikita siya sa FASSSTER once
Actually ngayon, ngayon 'di ba, there's a Tugon there's a Tugon report in terms of So sa FASSSTER makikita pa rin po yung number of reports that were received, yung mga verified reports that were received, and this aggregated according to the symptoms reported.
Yun lang yung makikita, right?
Meron na ngayon.
When would these resources for training be available? Yung PowerPoint po, madali pong i-send. Pero po kasi nagkaka-problem kami sa videos kasi mabagal yung internet and mabagal po yung pag-download and upload sa Google Drive. So, I can promise po tomorrow.
Miss Faye, nagpadala po ako ng updated
PowerPoint po.
PowerPoint for training the trainers. I think I also forgot to inform also the group that in terms of activation of LGU numbers, so it may be between 1 to 2 days depending po sa globe kung paano po sila kabilis mag-revert back in activating our numbers.
Who will coordinate for rollout po? Kung FASSSTER po, actually both po. Pero kung for FASSSTER, mainly po the DOST Regional Office. Kasi sila po yung in charge sa rollout ng different offices sa kanilang respective regions. Kami po, sinasabihan lang po for activation. For TanodCOVID po, LGUs po.
Wala na si Marisol.
We are attending our IATF, RTF meetings.
Okay, ito yung
from
yung sagot sa tanong ko. Anyway, okay, sige po.
In muna ako, makakalimutan.
Meron ibang training session after today for trainer and interpreter. Yes po, meron po. Ang problem lang po is medyo full na po yung ating
succeeding schedule.
Opo. So ang next po actually is tomorrow, tapos Friday is a holiday. So ang next, yung day 3 po would be on Monday. Pero nag-usap na po kami ni Faye, baka pwedeng magdagdag ng participants sa beyond the limit of 100 or magdagdag ng day 4 for yung mga hindi pa nakasali. We'll be
Next step.
on the next step to do. Bali, ang next step po would be for FASSSTER would be to register and coordinate with the DOST regional office po. What do we have to do in order to access the said data?
Sir Ryan, is this for the production of Tanod? If it is for the then you just have to request for an account dun po sa production site. Yung walang test, yeah. Okay.
Are the session for tomorrow the same of today? Yes po. Same po yung mangyayari. Pero different participants po kasi. Ito po bang mga naka-raise hand? May tanong po. For example, si Sir Rene Argenal from Region 7. And Sir Oliver from DOST Mimaropa. I guess wala po. Okay. Next question. For Ms. Faye, baka po pwede magpa-meeting ang PCHRD sa mga DOST regional coordinators para po clear ang instruction namin regarding the deployment of scholars and other volunteers.
Okay, we can arrange this po. I-announce na lang namin doon sa Viber group natin. Thank you.
And siguro po, we have time for last question kasi lumapas na po tayo sa time natin and parang makakain na rin po.
May last.
Yan, last question.
Will TanodCOVID allow an action undertaken, for instance, by barangays to report cases based on a proactive, thorough household-to-household and community-based contact tracing? Will TanodCOVID accept report based on such community-organized initiative? If that is the case po, this is active contact tracing na po, no? So, ideally po talaga, ipasok nyo na po sa COVID kaya. If you find out that if you're able to identify which are suspect cases, then might as well create a case information record na in COVID kaya. Because the real purpose of TanodCOVID is to enjoin the public to report themselves, okay? To increase case detection na hindi po nagagawan, parang nawala po dun sa initiative ng community, okay? Pero kung mas maganda pong ipasok na po sa COVID kaya para po mas mabilis nakapasok sa FASSSTER.
Last question, privately sent. Is there also available manual we can read on FASSSTER? Yes po, i-send na lang po namin. We'll stay.
Ito, last na. Ay, sorry.
Go pa.
Private yan sa'yo. Ito, the Stay Safe PH, they also incorporated to COVID kaya. Yes, they are required to submit data to COVID kaya as well. So, essentially, yung parang yung pinakita ni Doc na kanina, yung unified ecosystem na architecture natin, all data collection will provide data to COVID kaya, and that will be our single source of data for FASSSTER dashboard.
Yes. Okay po. If meron pong other questions, what you can do po is to forward those questions sa DOST regional offices po for them to compile tapos i-present na lang po sa amin para masagot rin po namin. Ayan.
We may be able to come up with a frequently asked question list. No?
Opo. Ayan. Para ma-assess rin namin kung ano yung levels ng mga questions, kung technical ba or operational. Ayan. So, before we end po itong ang request po ng PCHRD ay magkaroon po tayo ng picture for documentation purposes. So, if pwede pong i-on yung cameras, I will take the picture. Bali, 4 po Wait lang.
Ang dami natin, no?
Oo nga 100 po tayo. Ito po yung
wow. Ito na yung pinakamalaki so far.
Okay. First picture. First page. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Wait. Next. 1, 2, 3. Next. 4 po 1, 2, 3. May mga nag-open pa. And last. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Doc, and okay na po ako.
Okay. Maraming salamat, Ken. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. On behalf of Doc Rina, kasi kinailangan na po niyang umalis ng mas maaga, we would like to thank you all for volunteering in this effort. Good luck sa atin lahat. Okay? Wag po kayong mag-alala. We're still here to support. So if you have further questions, just feel free to coordinate with your Sino Ken? DOST regional offices. And they will cascade it to us. Thank you all. And have a good lunch.
Okay po. Maraming salamat po sa lahat.
Bye-bye.
Thank you po. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And meeting ko na po.